What on earth do we have here? It looks like a cruiser and a superbike have come together and had a baby. This is an incredible looking machine. In person, I must say, it is very impressive. Still trying to wrap my head around exactly what it is, because I've ridden it just a couple of minutes over to this filming shot, and it doesn't feel like a cruiser, I can tell you that for sure. Gonna go for a ride today, try and work out exactly what it is, and try and just get used to this crazy looking machine. Just quickly before we get going and see what it's like to ride, just a point, we've got a huge 240 section rear tyre, a sort of laid back cruiser style riding position, mid to forward foot pegs, not fully forward like a Harley, sort of middle foot pegs there. Long wheelbase on the bike. This really is, the Diavel's always been a bit of a different one, hasn't it? But now the third generation, they've got the V4, exact same engine as out of the Multistrada V4. Now in the Diavel, a really interesting one. Let's jump on. As I was saying, in person, this is actually quite a striking bike and quite shocking. It is really wide. Frontal area there with these sort of air ducts coming through there. It's liquid cooled, so I don't believe they're cooling for the engine. Striking looking bike, single-sided swing arm, beautiful, huge wheel at the rear here. Very cool looking exhaust, 4 pipes at the back from the V4. Sleek, really minimal sort of floating style seat there. Really cool looking bike, very aggressive. All-round build quality comes across top quality from Ducati. Yeah, very premium. Also, lovely wing mirrors here, which I must say, they look nice, but I can't get them, just cannot figure out how to get them a good view from behind, but that's not too much of a biggie. A little bit annoying though. Let's fire her up. So we've got keyless ignition, as to be expected on a motorcycle like this. And there she is, the V4 from Ducati. It is a lovely motor, this. Packs a punch, just standard. I wouldn't want to change these exhausts. Sound really nice, not too loud, but nice amount of noise there. Oh, God, it's exciting. So let's just get out of here. So guys, coming in, this ain't a cheap bike. £23,595. So we're really at the higher end of the market price-wise. If you're comparing that to a big Harley cruiser or the Triumph Rocket, perhaps, price isn't too crazy. They're all up there like that these days, but not a cheap bike. Oh, Nelly, she is an absolute monster of a machine. So yeah, the V4, same as the multi-engine, 168 brake horsepower in this guys and 126 newton meters of torque, and it's a gorgeous motor. Wow, this thing is rapid, nice linear power delivery. This V4 motor is so nice. It's not like a really peaky, high screamy inline 4. It does slightly mimic a twin. It's got some meat there. You don't need to rev it out and be screaming. I don't know if you can hear it in the exhaust note. It's a meaty motor. It's really nice, just solid all the way through. Oh. Okay, so we got a quick shifter up and down, which is phenomenal. Top quality quick shifter. Riding position straight off. It took me a while to get used to it. I think it was the long wheelbase. It is quite a long wheelbase, and when you're on a machine this Sporty, it's quite strange to get used to that wheelbase, but 5 minutes and I'm used to it. Riding position, your legs are actually, I've got a bit of an angle in my legs. It's not like a traditional cruiser. You're not legs stretched out far forward, leaning back. You do have a bit of an angle in your legs. To be honest, I would describe this as, you know, it's a muscle bike, isn't it? That's not really a category in its own, muscle bikes, I guess, but that's the closest thing I can describe this as. I suppose that's even doing it a bit of a downfall, because it's more than a muscle bike. This thing thing's performance and handling is phenomenal. It feels light through the corners and handling, and the engine is much more refined than a, you know, so-called muscle bike motor. It's a real work of art, this motor. Very responsive, smooth, etc. Wow, it's nice. So for 2023, guys, this is the 3rd generation Diavel. Before they were using V-twins, if you didn't know. Now they're using a V4. And it really is sort of a whole new bike to the previous Diavel. Now, I didn't ride the previous Diavel, if I'm being honest, but this thing, even at slow speeds, it's so well built. So this has a really clever system. First, on a Ducati bike, it has cylinder cut-off, so the rear 2 cylinders, whilst you're moving, the rear 2 cylinders, anything below 4,000 RPM, it's only using the front 2 cylinders. And then when you go above 4,000 RPM, or you yank on the throttle and you ask for immediate power, it will seamlessly switch to using 4 cylinders. So the benefit of that, obviously saving fuel, more economical, etc., less heat from the engine, but also when you're below 4,000 RPM, it's a bit of it's not a pussycat, I wouldn't say that actually, but it's considerably smoother than you would expect. It's actually a relaxing ride, which is a wicked little touch for the bike, because you would be expecting, looking at this thing, to be just a rampant beast and to be sort of just crazy the whole. She likes it. Well, maybe she's looking at me. Pretty sure it's the bike. Yeah. You would expect it to be rampant the whole time, but when you're just going low revs, it's actually quite docile and fairly relaxing to ride, I've got to be honest. So guys, these V4s from Ducati are not frugal machines, shall we say, if that's the correct term. They do like to drink a bit of fuel, but with that rear cylinder deactivation, Ducati say this could do around 44 mpg, I believe, somewhere around that. So it is better than without the rear cylinder deactivation, obviously, but that's really not what you're buying this machine for. If you're concerned about fuel economy and you buy this, then you're not really buying it for the right reasons. Oh, she wants to go. Move, car, move. Oh, so used to it now. It's fairly agile despite the longer wheelbase. Really planted, connected to the road. Suspension's not too stiff, just bundling along here. It's not soft, but it's not stiff either. So when you're riding this, guys, you are not. I was having a bit of a moment. It's really relaxing at these slower speeds. I was gonna say it's not relaxing like a big cruiser, which it's not. You're not bobbing along, you want to get a hustle on, but just cruising at 45 here in 4th gear, it's a really comfortable riding position. I'm really comfortable. I'm surprised. I want to say, unlike perhaps a KTM, hello sir, nice scooter, not like my Diavel. Oh, I don't want to be a bike snob. Unlike a KTM, this is not egging me the whole time. It's not like a little Jack Russell and just poking you going, go, 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 go. It's not that frantic. I think it's more grown up, more composed, this V4 from Ducati. It's a really nice mixture. If I was in the KTM, the 1290 V twin, you're just wanting to spank that thing the whole time. But this V4, you can sit back, especially with that rear cylinder deactivation. You can sit back and just enjoy the ride, which is a beautiful feature, because I like doing that as well as going fast. However, I do want to go fast on this, so let's go and get rid of these cars and find some nice roads. But so far, hardly even opened it up. It's a really nice ride, really relaxing. Well done, Ducati. Lovely through town. Quite a lot of money just to spend on a town bike though. Right, had enough of those cars. Wow, it's nice. It is so planted on the road. That engine is just gorgeous. I much prefer it than an inline 4 where you have to rev the pants off of it. This is just meat all the way through. Fantastic. Actually usable. So it's near enough 170 horsepower, but funnily enough you can use it on the road. It's gorgeous. I forgot how nice this engine was. This thing makes sense. This cruiser cum superbike works really well. So there's loads to go there. When you come up higher in the rev range, it does start picking up again, and it just keeps going. So far, so very good. The suspension's nicely dialed in. It's not electronic suspension, but it's fully adjustable front and rear. It's a nice ride. It's not too... Jeez, that used to be a car park there. It's completely flooded. Jesus. It's not too stiffly damped. It's a really, really good, nicely damped bike for the road. I was worried it was going to be too aggressive jumping on. Having never ridden a Diavel, I was worried it was going to be too pokey, too stiff, too go in your face, but it's not. It's really impressive. Good bike. Very grown up, premium machine. So also guys, switchgear, classic Ducati, it is really premium. Nice 5-inch full colour TFT. That was a funny noise. I'm not a massive fan of the dash, to be honest. It's nice, does the job, but it's, don't know, sort of I'm neither here nor there with it. It's fine, nothing wrong with it, but there are better TFTs out there. The switchgear though is really nice, and it's backlit. You can even see it in daytime with a little red light. Don't know if you can see it on the GoPro, but it's backlit, which is nice. Top quality, and a standout feature other than obviously the engine and the way it rides is the riding position. It's really comfortable. So of course guys, it's got all the different rider modes. I think it's 4 or 5 different riding modes: wet, urban, touring, sport. Hey, caught my glasses, nearly broke an expensive pair. Need them, the spring's coming. Right, let's start off with those brakes, shall we? Not my glasses. You've got 2 big 330mm discs up front with 4-piston Brembo calipers, Stylima calipers, radially mounted. Brakes, big standout point, really strong anchors braking system here, which is good because this is a fast bike. The brakes just make it feel even sportier actually. They're very strong brakes, really impressive, and yeah, nice to have them that strong. Brakes on the rear. You have a single 265mm disc with a 2-piston Brembo floating caliper. A nice point again actually, the rear brakes are noticeably nice, which is rare I find on a lot of motorbikes. You don't often notice the rear brake, but you do on this, which is good to have. Trail braking into a corner just to dip that bike in a bit further, really nice. On top of that, whilst we're here, just look at this wheel. It's like sort of wheel off a big SUV car or something out of a rap video. It is just bling. It's really nice with the single-sided swing arm, just exposes the wheel beautifully. Top quality finish, it really is. Whilst we're round at the rear, as they like to say, you have a fully adjustable monoshock with 145mm of travel, which, bit of a simple one, but the yellow spring standing out against the Ducati red just looks bellissima. Alrighty, all finished up at the rear, let's move round to the front. What do we have? 50mm upside down, fully adjustable forks, manually adjustable on the top of the forks there, with 120mm of travel. Like I was saying when riding, suspension's actually a nice setup. It's not electronically adjustable, it's done manually. For someone of my weight and size, I'm 5'9" and about just under 11 stone. Really nicely set up for the road actually. I wouldn't want to change it. It's not too stiff. I was expecting the suspension to be too stiff, too aggressive, but it's not. It's nice for the road. It's not a cruiser. It's not like a classic Harley where you're wallowing up and down, shall we say. It's tighter than that. It feels like a sports bike suspension on the road, but it's not too stiff. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so weight and seat height. Spinner up. As I said earlier, I'm 5'9". I have 32-inch inseam, very comfortably flat footing it with a 790mm seat height, so nice and low to the ground. It's got that cruiser style vibe to it, but more aggressive riding position than a classic cruiser. Now, onto an interesting one, I think, personally. The wet weight, so ready to run, fully fueled up, 236 kilograms. Now, that's not a light motorbike, but for a bike of this size, power, and a cruiser, that's quite a good weight, and it feels light on the road. It feels sporty, agile, nice wide handlebars for sort of cam steering on the road. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a heavy bike. It feels classic Ducati. It feels sporty. light and nimble on the road. That is the vibe I'm getting from ZBWZJKTQPHZGRYRR. Okay, so there are the specs for you. Some pretty impressive specs actually. Standout point from those specifications, the brakes. Quality, powerful brakes. I just wanted to point out actually, if you were to have a passenger, you can have a passenger seat here. Passenger foot pegs are fold in, fold out style. I think more bikes should do that. They're just really slick, minimalistic styling on the rear there. Looking very nice. As we go over the bike, I feel like a presenter here. I guess I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. Just the quality, the build quality of the bike, just the engine, the exhaust, obviously the rear end here as we've just been over, coming around this side as well. Just everything is just top quality. You are paying for it, mind, so you would expect that, but it is worth mentioning. Right, let's just hit the road again and enjoy the sunshine and this ridiculous machine. I still don't know quite what to make of it, if I'm being honest. Need a little bit more riding to get the hang of her. Cyclists hogging the road. It's blisteringly fast. So one actually I haven't mentioned you could compare the Diavel to is the Rocket, the Triumph Rocket 3. I rode that a while back. Lovely bike, just a mighty impressive piece of engineering with is it a 2.5 litre triple engine in it and 225 Newton meters of torque. That thing is crazy. And you could compare this to that bike. I mean, it's 100 Newton meters of torque down, this Diavel. However, I think this Diavel would absolutely trump, excuse the term trump, the Rocket 3 in performance and handling, etc. This thing is another level compared to that Triumph. This is really a genuinely impressive and agile bike when it comes to performance, like handling, brakes, etc. Even the engine, it can almost feel as strong as the Rocket. Top end, certainly this feels nicer. As with a lot of my reviews, I've thoroughly enjoyed this bike. Compared to the Rocket, obviously this is lighter. It's considerably lighter, it's quicker to respond, it's more agile, it's a more engaging ride. I'm really surprised by this. I've got to be honest, I probably wouldn't buy one with my own money because first off it's too much money, but if I had some spare change, that amount of 24 grand basically spare cash, and I could just have this in the garage and bring it out for a blast on a nice day, it makes complete sense. So if you're comparing this to what, the Panigale V4 or the V4S, the naked bike from Ducati, I would almost prefer one of these. It really does make sense. It's comfortable, much more so I think than obviously a Panigale, but also the naked version. It's got the rear cylinder deactivation, so if you're just cruising along, it's nice and comfy and smooth, but it's also got the performance as well. It's also got the handling, the speed, the braking. I would have this. This is actually a really good concept for a road bike. If I had the spare change, I would have one of these. I'd be tempted, you know, to put a bit of a screen on it, maybe some panniers, and turn it into a bit of a touring machine. For me, it's got the riding comfort, but then it's an absolute monster when you get some lovely twisty roads. Okay guys, so as a touring proposition, I think really cool. You've got a 20 litre fuel tank. Mind you, it does drink the fuel quite quickly, but with the rear cylinder deactivation, that does help consumption somewhat. I think quite a good tour. I think a brilliant touring proposition on this. I also want to mention actually the engine braking is very nice. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I've got to be honest, I'm not a technical wizard, but yeah, engine braking when riding feels really nice. Nice amount, not too much. It's not like a BMW Boxer, but it's a nice amount and very predictable to slow you down when you come off the throttle, which is handy. Also guys, whilst we're here, I forgot to mention who's lent me this stunning bike for today, which is very rude of me, I apologise. Abingdon Oxford Ducati, a part of the Blade Motorcycles group. Thank you very much. I'm really grateful for lending me this bike for today. It's been stunning, and they've literally just put this bike together guys, so it's brand new. If you want a chance to ride one, get down down to Oxford Ducati and get yourselves on this bike. Alright, just another quick point. I feel like this video might be getting a little bit long now, but it's worth it. This thing is awesome. The gear shifter, go over the gears. It's a light clutch, medium weighted clutch, and at your foot it's a nice, actually quite positive gear change. Very, very nice feeling, slightly reminiscent of a cruiser with a sort of a nice bit of a clunk into gear. Sort of perfect, really. Partly due, I'm sure, down to being a brand new bike, but yeah, really, really nice. No complaints with the gear change. So handling as well, we've got all these cars in front, not much opportunity to show you, but you can really lean it in with quite a bit of an angle in your leg. Lovely amount of counter steering with the wide handlebars. The handling, delicious, really is. The only problem with it is the cars on the road. Tell you what's quite fun as well is looking at the rev counter, and if it's below 4,000 RPM, trying to tell when it's 2 cylinders, and then you're like, oh, I'm above 4,000 now, I'm using all 4 cylinders. Pretty stupid, but I've found myself doing it. It's quite a fun little feature. You really can't tell the transition from 2 to 4 cylinders. It's seamless. Well, I guess we can end the video there, guys. Reluctantly, I could just film with this bike for weeks. It is so much fun. Just endless amounts of handling and power, etc. to explore, and the weather helps. Big shout out to mental health awareness. I hope you're all feeling well out there. This weather's certainly helped me feel a bit better today. Stay happy, keep riding, appreciate the small things, and get out on your bikes, guys. The weather's getting good, we're coming into riding season. Many thanking you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay classy, San Diego. Always wanted to say that. Ciao bella.